Howe'er it be, I cannot but be sad, so heavy sad, as though in thinking on no thought I think, makes me with heavy nothing faint and shrink.
'Tis nothing but conceit, my gracious lady.
'Tis nothing less. Conceit is still derived from some forefather grief. Mine is not so, for nothing hath begot my something grief, or something hath the nothing that I grieve. 'Tis in reversion that I do possess, but what it is, that is not yet known. What I cannot name. 'Tis nameless woe, I wot.
Enter Green.
God save your majesty, and well met, gentlemen. I hope the king is not yet shipped for Ireland.
Why hopest thou so? 'Tis better hope he is, for his designs crave haste, his haste good hope. Then wherefore dost thou hope he is not shipped?
That he, our hope, might have retired his power, and driven into despair an enemy's hope, who strongly hath set footing in this land. The banished Bolingbroke repeals himself, and with uplifted arms is safe arrived at Ravensburg.
Now God in heaven forbid.
Ah, madam, 'tis too true, and that is worse. The Lord Northumberland, his son young Henry Percy, the lords of Ross, Beaumont, and Willoughby, with all their powerful friends, are fled to him.
Why have you not proclaimed Northumberland and all the rest revolted faction traitors?
We have, whereupon the Earl of Worcester has broken his staff, resigned his stewardship, and all the household servants fled with him to Bolingbroke.
So, Green, thou art the midwife to my woe, and Bolingbroke my sorrow's dismal heir. Now hath my soul brought forth her prodigy, and I, a gasping new delivered mother, have woe to woe, sorrow to sorrow joined.
Despair not, madam.
Who shall hinder me? I will despair, and be at enmity with cozening hope. He is a flatterer, a parasite, a keeper back of death, who gently would dissolve the bands of life, which false hope lingers in extremity.
Enter York.
Here comes the Duke of York.
With signs of war about his aged neck. Oh, full of careful business are his looks. Uncle, for God's sake, speak comfortable words.
Should I do so, I should belie my thoughts. Comfort's in heaven, and we are on earth, where nothing lives but crosses, cares, and grief. Your husband he is gone to save far off, whilst others come to make him lose at home. Here am I left to underprop his land, who, weak with age, cannot support myself. How comes the sick hour that his surfeit made? Now shall he try his friends that flattered him.
Enter a servant.
My lord, your son was gone before I came.
He was? Why so? Go all which way it will. The nobles they are fled, the commons they are cold, and will, I fear, revolt on Hereford's side. Sirrah, get thee to Plashy, to my sister Gloucester. Bid her send me presently £1,000. Hold, take my ring.
My lord, I had forgot to tell your lordship. To-day, as I came by, I called there. But I shall grieve you to report the rest.
What is't, knave?
An hour before I came, the Duchess died.
God for his mercy, what a tide of woes comes rushing on this woeful land at once. I know not what to do. I would to God, so my untruth had not provoked him to it, the king had cut off my head with my brother's. What, are there no posts dispatched for Ireland? How shall we do for money for these wars? Come, sister, cousin, I would say, pray pardon me. Go, fellow, get thee home, provide some carts, and bring away the armour that is there.
Exit servant.
Gentlemen, will you go muster men? If I know how or which way to order these affairs, thus disorderly thrust into my hands, never believe me. Both are my kinsmen. One is my sovereign, whom both my oath and duty bids defend. T'other again is my kinsman, whom the king hath wronged, whom conscience and my kindred bids to right. Well, somewhat we must do. Come, cousin, I'll dispose of you. Gentlemen, go muster up your men, and meet me presently at Berkeley. I should to Plashy too, but time will not permit. All is uneven, and everything is left at 6 and 7.
Exeunt York and Queen.
The wind sits fair for news to go to Ireland, but none returns. For us to levy power proportionable to the enemy is all impossible.
Besides, our nearness to the king in love is near the hate of those love not the king.
And that is the wavering commons, for their love lies in their purses, and whoso empties them, by so much fills their hearts with deadly hate.
Wherein the king stands generally condemned.
If judgment lie in them, then so do we, because we ever have been near the king.
Well, I will for refuge straight to Bristol Castle. The Earl of Wiltshire is already there.
Thither will I with you. For little office the hateful commons will perform for us, except like curs to tear us all to pieces. Will you go along with us?
No. I will to Ireland to his majesty. Farewell. If heart's presages be not vain, we three here part, that ne'er shall meet again.
That's as York thrives to beat back Bolingbroke.
Alas, poor Duke, the task he undertakes is numbering sands and drinking oceans dry. Where one on his side fights, thousands will fly. Farewell at once, for all, and ever.
Well, we may meet again.
I fear me never.
Exeunt. End of Act 2, Scene 2. Act 2, Scene 3. The Wolds in Gloucestershire. Enter Bolingbroke and Northumberland with forces.
How far is it, my lord, to Berkeley now?
Believe me, noble lord, I am a stranger here in Gloucestershire. These high, wild hills and rough, uneven ways draws out our miles and makes them wearisome. And yet your fair discourse hath been as sugar, making the hard way sweet and delectable. But I bethink me what a weary way from Ravenspur to Cotswold will be found in Ross and Willoughby wanting your company, which, I protest, hath very much beguiled the tediousness and process of my travel. But theirs is sweetened with the hope to have the present benefit which I possess. And hope to joy is little less in joy than hope enjoyed. By this the weary lords shall make their way seem short, as mine hath done by sight of what I have, your noble company.
Of much less value is my company than your good words. But who comes here?
Enter Harry Percy.
It is my son, young Harry Percy, sent from my brother Worcester whencesoever. Harry, how fares your uncle?
I had thought, my lord, to have learned his health of you.
Why, is he not with the Queen?
No, my good lord, he hath forsook the court, broken his staff of office, and dispersed the household of the king.
What is his reason? He was not so resolved when last we spake together.
Because your lordship was proclaimed traitor. But he, my lord, is gone to Ravensperg, to offer service to the Duke of Hereford, and sent me over by Berkeley to discover what power the Duke of York hath levied there, then with directions to repair to Ravensperg.
Have you forgotten the Duke of Hereford, boy?
No, my good lord, for that is not forgot which ne'er I did remember. To my knowledge, I never in my life did look on him.
Then learn to know him now. This is the Duke.
My gracious lord, I tender you my service, such as it is, being tender, raw, and young, which elder days shall ripen and confirm to more approved service and desert.
I thank thee, gentle Percy, and be sure I count myself in nothing else so happy as in soul remembering my good friends. And as my fortune ripens with thy love, it shall be still thy true love's recompense. My heart this covenant makes, my hand thus seals it.
How far is it to Berkeley, and what stir keeps good old York there with his men of war?
There stands the castle by yon tuft of trees, manned with 300 men, as I have heard, and in it are the lords of York, Berkeley, and Seymour, none else of name and noble estimate.
Enter Ross and Willoughby.
Here come the lords of Ross and Willoughby, bloody with spurring, fiery red with haste.
Welcome, my lords. I wot your love pursues. A banished traitor, all my treasury is yet but unfelt